The Christmas season is upon us, so today on Catherine Learns Stuff, we're going to learn how to make a Christmas bulb countdown calendar. So let's jump in. For this project, what I've done is I've actually created an SVG file for the Christmas bulb. So if you go to my website, catherinelearnstuff.com, and go to Christmas bulb holiday countdown calendar, you can scroll down into my website pages and sign up for my newsletter. Once you sign up for my newsletter, I'll send you access to my resource library. When you're accessing the resource library, you'll just go to resources and hit the library button to get prompted for the password. Sometimes you may find that the website will kick you out on the first attempt, but you just need to try again and you'll get in. So we'll scroll down into my library and you'll see here the Christmas bulb calendar, and you can get the free SVG here. Once you've downloaded the file, you can go into Cricut Design Space to upload the file into your canvas. Select the upload image and upload the file into your workspace. I've got it already downloaded, so I'm going to select the upload button and add it to my canvas. You'll notice that this file is rather large when it comes into Cricut Design Space, so simply select the width and change it to 6 inches. I find that 6 inches is the best size for this Christmas bulb if you are using Halloween candy, but I recommend that you print off 1 or 2 copies in different sizes so that you can figure out what size works best for your treats. Now there's only 1 bulb included in this file, so depending on how many countdown numbers you want, you have to duplicate them by using this duplicate button. If you're going to have 25 countdown days, you need to duplicate 24, and likewise with 24 countdown days, you need 23. But for the sake of right now, we're just going to make 3 of these copies, and we're going to select Make It just to show you how we can adjust this onto our canvas. I'm using 12 by 12 cardstock, and you'll notice that I've only got 1 item per sheet. So if I select on sheet 3 and I hit these 3 dots over my object, I'm going to move it to my first sheet and I'm going to click confirm. I'm going to do the same thing for my second sheet and move this as well to my first sheet. I'm going to jump back to my first sheet here, and I'm going to move my items around so that I can see them, but also so that I can move them around so that I can fit more onto my sheet so that I'm not wasting as much cardstock. It takes a little bit of maneuvering to find the best spots for this, or for these bulbs, but it can be done fairly quickly and it will save you a lot of cardstock. So that's ready to go. So we simply need to cut out the number that we require, either 24 or 25, and we're going to select continue, and we'll meet you at my workstation. For my hanging Christmas bulb countdown calendar, I've picked out some Christmas themed papers, some that look similar in shades so that they'll all be sort of the same shading all together. And so I'm going to quickly send that off to my Cricut to get them all cut out for me. So I've got all of my bulbs cut out, so I'm going to start gluing them together. I was trying it out earlier with my glue gun, and although it does do a nice seal on it, it can leave goop and grossness on it. So like this one here, you've got a lot more visible leftover glue. So you can use a glue gun or you can just use your craft glue to glue these together, but the option of either glue gun or craft glue is your choice. Although the one thing is with the craft glue, it takes a little bit longer to dry than the hot glue. So there might be a time constraint that you're working with to decide which one you prefer to use. Before I glue these, I want to just sort of fold them in a little bit at the edge of the circle here and at this top circle. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying a bead of glue around the one edge and then folding it closed on a bit of an angle. And then I'm going to do glue on the second edge and continue all the way around so that each edge only has 1 bead of glue around it. So now that my glue gun is hot, I'm quickly just going to apply a small bead of glue around the edge and try not to make a mess of it. And then I'm just going to glue this piece on like so. It only takes a few moments for the hot glue to dry, enough so that I can continue working with this. And now I'm going to do a bead on the next leaf and I'll go all the way around. Now the last one gets a bit tricky because I've got two at once, so I'm actually going to glue both of them down at the same time, if I can. And this one as well. And fold this one in here, and this one here, and let that dry. Okay, so this one's ready. Now I'm going to continue on with the other ones. For my countdown calendars, I have to take pictures and document each number that gets assigned with what candy, since every kid in my house gets the exact same contents in each calendar, but they each get a different calendar. So I always take a picture of what I have, and then I also put numbers on it so that I know what is going into which number, so that I can make sure that I have the correct items in the numbers. So what I've done is I've created a snowflake number for every number up to 24. And I'm simply going to put them on top of this pile of candy. Then I'm going to take a picture of it so I know what goes where. All these candies are left over from Halloween, so what I always do is right after Halloween, I pick out the candies so that we have enough for the month of December for our countdown calendar, and that way I don't have to buy any surplus of other items. Okay, so all of my candies now have numbers on them, so I can make sure that everything gets distributed equally. You'll notice that with each of these Christmas balls that I've created, when we be closing it up later, there's going to be a few holes here around the edges and some at the bottom here. It's not a big deal, but if you have peering eyes like I do at my house, it's going to sort of give away what's inside each Christmas bulb. So what I'm doing right now is each candy is going to be sort of wrapped in a small piece of tissue paper so that when it's inside the Christmas bulb, you're not going to see what it is exactly. So I'm going to just quickly wrap up my candy. I'm going to put it into my ball, and then I'm going to glue down my candy, and then I'm going to glue on my number, just like so, and then it'll be done. So we'll do that for all 24 of them, and that way when you see here, you can't actually see what is inside. You can only see a little bit of light blue, which matches the color scheme that I've got. So we're going to do that for all 24 of these, and then we'll pick it up again from there. So the idea is that we're going to hang these Christmas bulbs. So I've got some wooden dowels here, and I'm just going to glue a few of them together to make them longer and thicker. So I'm going to glue them together like so, and that way they will be able to hold on to my Christmas bulbs, and they've got a little bit more strength than just one. You can use any size. I recommend using about a 1/4 inch size or a 3/16 size. But I mean, whatever you've got handy works just as well. And then just going to quickly glue these together and then wrap it with some ribbon. Now that my dowels are glued together, they don't look very pretty. So what I'm going to do is I've got some nice felt ribbon here, and I'm just going to wrap this around my dowels so that I've got a nice finish on it, so that it doesn't look ugly. And then I'm just going to glue that on. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue onto my dowels. So the one thing that we're going to be doing is each of these bulbs is going to be hanging off of this dowel that we've created. And they're going to be hanging at different lengths so that we can fit more of them together. And they're actually going to be attached on top here with ribbon glued on, and it's going to go around the top of the dowel. So there's going to be 4 or 5 different lengths of ribbon that we want, so that we can have them arranged in this sort of a fashion, hanging down like this. So we're going to quickly measure out. I've got 3 different colors of blue that I'm going to use for different lengths of ribbon. And we just want to measure the length of the ribbon so that it goes all the way from the dowel to the ribbon and back. So for the short one, well, just as an example, if the shortest one's going to be up top, we want to have enough ribbon here to attach it at the top, go around my dowel, and then come back. So that would be about 8 inches long. And we would repeat this measuring process for each of the different lengths of ribbon that we want. And we can give a little bit more or less depending on the length that we want. Just remember that we have to fit 24 of these in here, so it takes up a little bit of space. So if you can get 4 or 5 in a row, that's ideal so that they can last, so they can be longer. But you can also do it staggered, so do 3 and 4 and 5 and 4 and 3, or however you'd like to get it to come out nicely. So I'm going to quickly cut up a bunch of ribbon at different lengths, and then we're going to start to glue these together. So there's 2 ways that we can attach our bulbs onto our dowel. So the one is what I talked about originally, was you've got the loop over the dowel and then attached to the bulb. The one concern that I have with this method is that when I have it attached, and if my numbers aren't sequentially in order, getting them off will be difficult. So another thing that we can do, which is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to attach the ribbon in one spot onto the bulb, and then I'm going to leave my ribbon fully loose so that later I can attach all of my bulbs onto the dowel with just a bow so that you can untie each one individually. So what I've done is I've organized my bulbs into the lengths. So I've got short, medium, long, and extra long lengths. And what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to start tying each one on sort of from one of each pile into each one after another onto my dowel so that I've got bulbs hanging down. And I can adjust them as I go to see how long I'd like them or how short I'd like them. So I'm just going to be tying them on right now. And the number order doesn't matter because it's always fun to have to find the number sequences when they're looking for the treat. And I'm simply just going to tie it on with a little bow so that they can actually get them off later. So now that I have a few done, they'll stagger like so when they're hanging, and I'm going to just continue on my way with more. So I've got the option to do different lengths between them so that there's space, and I'm trying to keep them individually pulled so that later when they're pulling them off, they can just pull it right off and it'll come undone and they can grab their treat. So now that all of my bulbs are attached onto my dowel, I'm just going to take another piece of ribbon and tie it onto both ends so that I've got something to hang it with. Now what I like to do with this is I like to leave enough extra ribbon so that I can tie a knot at the top middle so that it won't shift around, because as we start to take the treats out of the bulbs throughout the holiday season, the calendar is going to start to shift because of the weight distribution. So if I pre-tie a knot in the middle, it will stop it from moving around as much later. So I'm just going to grab a length, about like so. I'm going to tie it onto each end. Okay. And now this spot here, which is roughly the center, I'm going to grab it and tie it into a knot. Okay, when I've got a knot there, a loop, so I can hang that up onto my wall. So that's it, the calendar is done. So now I just need to go hang it up on my wall and just my bulbs. And there you have it. Your Christmas bulb countdown calendar is complete. Each bulb can simply be pulled right off of the hanger and it's ready to access the treat. If you'd like a copy of this bulb SVG, make sure to go to my website, which is located in the details below, and sign up for my newsletter. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.